Hello, everyone, and welcome to ASMR Ghost Stories. If you enjoy stories about the paranormal, or witch tales, or stories that just can't be explained, welcome. All of my stories are told in either soft spoken or whispered form. So before you do put your headphones on to experience the full ASMR tingles, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let's build this channel up, shall we? Hit the like button to let me know, kind of fill me with, get my dopamine for the day. No, oh my gosh, you like this type of video. And hit the notification bell because I do upload twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. So if that's your thing, go ahead, sit back, relax. You can watch the channel. A lot of times when I'm listening to videos like this, I like to crochet. It's calming and just kind of puts your mind at ease to get the full ASMR experience. So today we're gonna go to Edinburgh, Scotland. And if I haven't said it once, I know I've said it a million times. I love Edinburgh. I've been there countless of times, and there's something incredibly creepy but lovable at the same time about this medieval city. Let's just say, when I get off the tram and I'm standing on Princess Street looking up at Old Town, I am taken back. I can't get enough of it. So we're gonna go to Edinburgh. So stay with me here, because we're gonna go to Tales from Beyond the Grave in Edinburgh. And just a little pet peeve of mine, we're just gonna put this out in the open right now. It is pronounced Edinburgh. I've heard, and it's like nails on a chalkboard when, pronunciation of like Edinburgh. I can guarantee you it's not Edinburgh. It's Edinburgh. And I love it. So you must go to and enjoy the mysticism of this ancient medieval city. So let's go ahead and get into this. Tales from Beyond the Grave in Edinburgh. From malevolent spirits and grave robbers to the inspiration behind some of the names found in Harry Potter, Edinburgh's graveyards certainly have one or two tales lurking between the headstones. So join us as we explore some of the stories that haunt Edinburgh to this day. We promise we'll try not to scare you too much. The first place is Greyfriars Kirkyard. Built on the site of a pre-Reformation Franciscan monastery, Greyfriars Kirk was founded in 1620. the first church to be built in post-Reformation Scotland. Today, the kirkyard is famous in its own right, as every year thousands, I'm included in that, of visitors come to visit two memorials in particular. The first being the grave of Tom Riddle, who, as all well-versed muggles know, is the name of he who must not be named, aka Lord Voldemort. Come rain or shine, devoted Harry Potter fans flock to the kirkyard to pay homage to the grave that many believe inspired the name of the series leading baddie. The second highly visited memorial belongs not to a human, but to a dog, specifically that of Greyfriars Bobby, a terrier who was looked after by local policeman John Gray after John's death. Bobby reportedly guarded his master's grave for 14 years. A granite memorial to Bobby sits opposite the main gate of the kirkyard, and it's not uncommon to see sticks, dog toys, and treats here, placed by doting dog lovers. Bobby's collar and bowl are also on display at the nearby Museum of Edinburgh. I have to stop right there for just a second. If you do visit Edinburgh, outside of the Greyfriars Kirkyard is a statue of the Greyfriar Bobby, and the locals do ask that you don't touch the statue. People rub the nose of the little terrier statue for good luck. It's starting to wear down, so every time I've gone, the locals have asked tourists, please don't touch the nose of Greyfriars Bobby. So I'm just putting that out there as well. I'm kind of helping out Edinburgh. Let's continue. But Greyfriars Kirkyard also has some grisly tales, and these ones are guaranteed to send a shiver down your spine. The first one is the Mackenzie poltergeist, which I've done a video on this, and trust me, it is as spooky as the story. If you've been there, comment below. I want your story too. A lawyer and the Lord Advocate during the rule of Charles II, George Mackenzie was a ruthless man who quickly earned a reputation as one of the most vicious persecutors of the Covenanters, the people who rose up and signed the National Covenant in 1638. On his orders, several hundred men were imprisoned in the Covenanters' prison in Greyfriars Kirkyard, where the brutal treatment they received quickly earned Mackenzie the nickname Bloody or Bloody Mackenzie. On his death in 1691, Mackenzie was laid to rest in a grand mausoleum, ironically only yards from the Covenanters' prison, where so many suffered at his his orders. But it is believed Mackenzie did not pass quietly into the afterlife. Oh, do tell. In 1999, which is weird because in other forms it was 1995, so it's off a few years, but you'll get the picture. A homeless man sought shelter in Mackenzie's mausoleum and fell through the floor. And in 2003, two teenagers broke into the tomb and stole Mackenzie's head. Both acts supposedly waking up the ghost of Bloody Mackenzie. Since then, visitors have reported ghostly activity around the tomb, including scratches and bruises. Could Bloody Mackenzie still be intent of causing horror and death as he was in life? I don't know. Grave robbing. In the early 1800s, Edinburgh was at the center of the Scottish Enlightenment, with medicine an esteemed occupation. But in order to hone students' skills, a steady supply of cadavers was required. The main legal source of obtaining bodies for dissection was that of convicted and executed criminals. But the demand for bodies far outstripped the supply. The shortfall was increasingly met by the activities of a group of unsavory characters known as grave robbers. Venturing into Edinburgh's graveyards at nightfall, they would dig up the fresh graves and sell the bodies to the medical school. To stop this happening, desperate relatives set up watch groups which patrolled the graveyards. The wealthier bit mortsaves elaborate cage-like tombs over their relatives' graves, two of which can still be seen today in Greyfriars Kirkyard, as well as watch houses and towers. Bobby's Bothy is an example of this. Dating from around 1830, it served as somewhere where relatives could keep a watchful eye, sometimes up to a month at a time, or until the body would be useless for medical use. Grave robbing continued to be a problem until 1832, when the Anatomy Act was introduced and gave physicians and students legal access to the corpses that were unclaimed after death. In particular, those who died in prison or the workhouse. Edinburgh's historic graveyards. Although somewhat unusual, a wander around Edinburgh's historic graveyards is a great way to uncover more about the city's past and its people. Our top recommendations include: dating from the early 18th century, several notable people of Edinburgh's history rest in Old Calton burial ground, including architect Robert Byrne, publisher William Blackwood, and artist David Allen. also home to the only monument to the American Civil War outside of the States. In 1820, when Old Calton Burial Ground became full, a watchtower was built to deter potential grave robbers, which can still be seen at the entrance to New Calton Graveyard. Believed to be the oldest Christian site in Edinburgh, a wander round the parish church of St. Cuthbert reveals many breathtaking monuments, while Canongate Kirk is the last resting place of town planner George Drummond, philosopher Dugald Stewart, and poet Robert Ferguson. Burke and Hare. If you lived in Edinburgh between 1827 and 1828, two characters you certainly would not want to bump into were William Burke and William Hare. At a time when grave robbing was at its peak, Burke and Hare decided a more efficient way of obtaining a ready supply of bodies would be to lure potential victims into their lodgings, unalive them, and sell the bodies to Dr. Cox, a prominent anatomy lecturer, who gladly accepted them on a no questions asked basis. The ghastly duo murdered at least 16 people, although it had been speculated that this figure could be as high as 30. Their crimes eventually caught up with them, and on the 1st of November 1828, they were arrested. Hare agreed to testify against his partner in crime in return for his own immunity. Burke was found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging on 29 January 1829, a public event that reportedly attracted as many as 25,000 people. In an ironic twist of fate, the judge ordered that Burke's body should also be given to the university. The public dissection proved to be the best attended lecture in the history of Edinburgh's medical school. So much so that a minor riot broke out when hundreds of students turned up to witness the spectacle. Burke's skeleton was given to the University of Edinburgh's Anatomical Museum, where it remains to this day. His death mask and a book bound with his skin can be seen at Surgeons Hall museums. I didn't know that. Ew. Today, if you fancy frequenting one of the city's watering holes, the White Hart Inn is said to be the pub used as a hunting ground for some of their unsuspecting victims. The clientele is much better these days, though, and I have to say that's true because I've been there and had the best Guinness. I know it's Irish, but I love Guinness, so I had a Guinness there, of course, and a Scotch, of course. So, yeah, if you get a chance to go to the White Hart Inn, it is supposedly haunted. Deacon Brodie. Sometimes appearances can be deceptive, and this is defiantly true in the case of William Brodie, most commonly known as Deacon Brodie. Deacon of the Guild of Wrights and Masons and an Edinburgh city councillor. Underneath this respected facade, he hid a dark secret. A skilled cabinet maker, he was also a talented locksmith, and it was this knowledge that he used to his advantage. While working within the houses of Edinburgh's high society, he would copy their keys using wax impressions, allowing him to return under cover of darkness and rob them. In 1788, after carrying out his most daring crime yet, a raid on Edinburgh's excise office, he was caught, found guilty, and sentenced to execution. Ironically, the gallows used were the ones which he himself had only recently redesigned. It is said Edinburgh author Robert Louis Stevenson, whose father owned a cabinet made by Brodie, used the criminal's double life as the inspiration for his character, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which was published a century later. Today, you can see that very cabinet in the Writers' Museum, while a lantern and 25 lock picks used in evidence against him are now part of the collection at the National Museum of Scotland. The next time you're on the Royal Mile and hunger strikes, stop by Brodie Close. In the 18th century, it was the site of the Brodie family's home. Today, it serves as Deacon House Cafe, where visitors are treated to a tasty range of all-day light bites and home baking. And I have to interject, is that the right word here? I've eaten at the Deacon House Cafe. They have the best scones, so make sure you get a scone. And back to our story. Or pop across the road to Deacon Brodie's Tavern, a traditional bar which originates from 1806. It is named after the infamous crook. And there you have it. Some places around Edinburgh. And again, if you get the chance to hop on over there, it is, I would describe it as incredibly moody with an underlying of mysticism. It has that foggy kind of creepy, but I love it. I absolutely love it. But it is creepy underlying. It just has so many stories. And I'm going to have to do a future video just on Edinburgh and some experiences because I can't explain it. It's like what I was saying when I stand at the bottom of Old Town, which is Princess Street, and you look up, all the buildings, or most of them, have like a smoky black outlining to them because they're not known as Old Reekie. Well, for one, Edinburgh was known to be pretty stinky. But from all the coal and chimney smoke, a lot of the buildings over time would turn black. And so most of the buildings have this marbly black stone effect, and it is beautiful, but kind of scary at the same time. But you have to see it for yourself to experience it. So if you have experienced it, write in the comments below, what was your favorite part of Edinburgh. I have many, so it would be hard to put my finger on just one thing. So, thank you for watching. It is much appreciated. And I hope you like stories such as these, especially told in soft spoken or whispered form. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you like videos like this, like it, let me know. Also, if you have a story of your own, comment below or send me an email on a story that you would like read in a future broadcast. So, until then,